Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Will Davos substitute the United Nations? Will it take the role of the place where decisions are made, important decisions are made for everyone on this planet? I think so. I think it's already been happening, but as a parallel institution, the real, how should I put it, the real organization where decisions are really implemented. Not the United Nations, at Davos. At Davos, I think these guys, when they gather over there, they make decisions together and then they put in practice parallel to the United Nations. Do you remember when the Bilderberg group, if you were talking about it, was considered a conspiracy theory? Remember that one? Now the same with Davos. Oh no, it's just a conspiracy. Not anymore. Not anymore. I'm going to show you in this article that I have here how Davos actually takes the role of, I don't want to say United Nations, certain nations united, or better put, certain interests united using nations. So these are some interests, some representatives of some interests that use their countries and their resources, their organizations, to get more power. That's what it is. And they are controlling this planet, you and I. Well, I didn't expect, to be asked how the world relations, foreign relations will be ran around the globe. I didn't, but I don't want to be fooled. Why don't you come and tell me? Do you want me to figure it out like I did? Which I think I did. Let's be a little bit like this for YouTube, okay? A little bit weasel talk. So, the new Voice of Ukraine, January 12, 2024, Friday. Davos Summit gathers 80 plus delegations for key talks on Ukrainian peace formula. Now, think of this. They didn't say 80 country delegations. I wonder if that's 80 delegations or 80 countries delegations. That 80 plus countries or delegations from 80 countries, or that's like 7 countries or 12 countries and they have 80 delegations from various locations, including those countries. We'll find out. And then the other thing is, for key talks on Ukraine peace formula, shouldn't this be discussed at the United Nations? The peace key talks Ukrainian formula, shouldn't that be talked and discussed and debated at the United Nations? Don't we have that body of nations that we put together for that exact reason? Why do you have to talk over there? 80 plus. Let's see, who are those guys? More than 80 delegations are set to participate in discussions of the Ukrainian peace formula in Davos on January 14th, the Swiss Department of Foreign Affairs said on January 11th. I'm going to wait the whole article to find out if those 80 delegations, or more than, are only countries, or what I said, interests. The conference aims, and I'm quoting, to conclude negotiations at the level of national security advisors on the principles of establishing a lasting and just peace in Ukraine. Who are you guys? Who are these guys? What authority do they have to conclude negotiations at the level of national security? So these guys are talking about certain countries' national security at that level in an organization, private organization, not recognized by the United Nations. It's doesn't belong to the United Nations. So it's a private club. But nations are involved. They're dealing with us like farmers deal with cattle, my friends. These principles are intended to form the basis for the subsequent stages of the peace process. Through Davos? Through Davos? Are they going to say, well, we discussed at Davos and we voted for it and screw United Nations? Not that I really care much for United Nations. I think it's just not very well organized, because when you have thugs that really show up as thugs, United Nations is not prepared. It was prepared for a level of thuggishness, whatever. Now it's not. It way surpassed that. It's not prepared. Ukrainian President presented 10-point peace formula. That was a like Humpty Dumpty, Snow White and the 12 dwarfs, or Sleeping Beauty. This kind of formula was that those 10 points was something like impossible. It's full of generalities and with things that there are no starters. In November 2022, at the G20 summit, which included the restoration of Ukrainian territorial integrity, the withdrawal of Russian troops, the release of all detainees, a tribunal for those responsible for aggression. Are they going to go and get these guys in United States of America or no? And the guys in London as well? No? Some of at Davos? Or no, those are not responsible, no? Just the Russians. And security guarantees for Ukraine. How about Russian guarantees? You see, there are certain things that are impossible to talk. Now, you want security guarantees for Ukraine, but you didn't give Russia any security guarantees in 2021. What do you mean? Well, you know what I mean. Zelensky stated on December 19 that Ukraine is ready to negotiate with Russia once the aggressor country accepts the final document outlining the Ukrainian peace formula. Are you crazy? Did you hear what this guy Weasel said, Zelensky's time? So I'm ready to talk to you after you get it deep. Everything I say you implement, then I'm gonna negotiate. So I'm gonna show up as a, as a narcissist at the table. Until then, talk to the hand. So would you do that? Let's say you put yourself in the Russians' shoes. A regular Russian, not the guys, the bad dudes over there. Let's say you're a Russian citizen. Do you think that that's good? So you're gonna give these guys everything. You're not going to get anything just to have them come at the table to negotiate. Do you think at a negotiating table, what does it mean? They can say, I'm not talking anymore. You gave me everything, but I'm not talking right now. No, we don't agree. Like the Poles did with the Germans before the Second World War. Remember? And if you don't remember, I tell you what happened. There were some other guarantors, which is Great Britain and France. So the Poles negotiated with Germans in bad faith. They say, well, yeah, we're going to negotiate. Let's meet. Yes, let's discuss. How about the Danzig corridor? Yes, let's talk about Danzig corridor. Yes. Well, no, we disagree with that. Okay, we meet next time. Yeah, we meet next time. We meet next time. Let's talk about the Danzig corridor. Okay, let's talk about the Danzig corridor. Oh, yes, no, we disagree with that. Sorry. Let's talk some other time. That's how the Poles did. Instead of saying, no, motherfucker, we're not going to do it. But they didn't dare to say that. Why? Because the guys over there were the guarantors. Said, if these guys attack you, we're going to intervene regardless. So say no as much as you want. That means in bad faith. You don't want to negotiate. You just say no. But they negotiated. The same with these guys. These guys are going to just show up at the negotiation after the guys are going to be hung, all of them. They're going to pay what? About $1 trillion. That's how the bill is right now, I think. 1 trillion. Not billion, trillion, about, I don't know, $790 billion was about 7 or 8 months. No, last year was it. Not last year. 2022 was the 760 according to IMF or something. Now they say it's only 400, only for this, but it's going to be more. So 1 trillion. The Russians are going to be slaves, become slaves. Why would they want to do this? Instead of taking it. I'm not going to stay with this guy. I'm not going to give you anything. I'm just going to take it. Because you are the guys used by those guys, and those guys are used by those interests. How about I just take it? Anybody can suck my thing. How about that? Instead of doing what this guy wants and then stay face to face, who's not going to stay face to face with Zelensky? Putin. Putin is going to be hanged by then. If he implements the 10 points formula, blah, blah, blah. So he's going to talk with the weasel. The weasel is going to kneel Russia, and if Russia has one thing to negotiate, say, I would like to negotiate, we're not going to talk to you anymore. So they give everything, they don't get anything back. Who would do this? It's impossible. My point is, these guys are talking at Davos. They're going to make decisions at Davos, not the United Nations. Why? Because that's what they do when democracy doesn't work their way. When they lose, which is, they have to persuade 193 countries. And they're about 40 to 50. The delegations, I didn't tell you what the delegations are. Country delegations, like prime ministers, foreign ministers, what are they? No, they are retired this, retired that, former this, former that, owner of that, director of that, president of that, and probably some presidents as well, of the usual suspects. So you have what? It's easy to, say, you know what, we're going to bypass you. So instead of talking about the international community, 193 countries, we're going to talk about the international community, myself, and Irene. That's all. This is the way it is. Davos is going to take over. It's clear. It's in our face right here. I mean, if it was not clear before this one, what else you want? These guys talk about that at Davos. Isn't Davos an economic forum? Wasn't that set up as an economic forum? Wasn't it? And right now it's what? Military? Peace treaties? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.